This is Tom Bain.
What is this?
This is Wine, Money, and Song. And if you're interested in wine and you want to learn about the best values in wine, please subscribe. So this is part two of revising the 1855 Bordeaux classification. And as I said, that's almost 200 years ago. And I'm making some obvious changes, in my opinion, that'll bring wines up to date where they should be. Now, we are not only demoting the Desmorel and the Ferrer, we're getting rid of them. We're throwing them out of the whole classification because I've never had a good wine of either of them. Now, I haven't had them often, but I never see them also. And they are not well received. So they're gone. Goodbye. So the two wines that we're going to be elevating are Pontet-Canet, which is a third growth, and we're going to be elevating Grand-Puy-Lacoste, which is a fifth growth. And Pontet-Canet is a fifth growth, I meant to say. We're elevating to the third growth, okay? Sorry, I got that a little mixed up. So they're both being promoted to the third classification from the fifth. Now, Pontet-Canet was owned by the Cruz family originally. And the Cruz family is famous for a big scandal back in the early 70s, 1973. I was just breaking into the wine business then, and I'm reading stories how they were blending cheap wines and putting it in with the more expensive wines. And people went to jail, and I think one of the family members of the Cruzes committed suicide at the end of it. And what Lionel Cruz said, they all do it. And that didn't help the reputation of Bordeaux. Right after that, the Bordeaux market collapsed. And I don't know if that had anything to do with it or not, but that was a black mark on the wine business in general and Bordeaux especially. And so in 1975, after the verdicts came down and people went to jail and everything, they sold the vineyard to the Tesserand family. And they started making a lot of changes. Now, the Cruz family was actually mechanically harvesting the grapes for Pontet-Canet. And I don't know how many classified growths mechanically harvest, but I don't know of any. So they stopped doing that, and they put money into the chateau. And the funny thing is that the quality of these wines really didn't start to really go up until the mid-90s. And I was in the business, and I remember I bought the 94, 95, and 96, and I bought fifths and magnums of it. And they were very good wines and priced very well. Very, very rich wine. And the critics really adopted these wines with the 2000, the 2005, and then the 2009 and 2010, they were getting 100 points. Now, do I agree those are 100-point wines? I don't know. They're very good wines. It's each to their own taste, but those wines are favorited by the critics, and they really made a big jump in recognition. And Pontet-Canet, Pauillac. Now you're a third growth. Now we go into Grand-Puy-Lacoste, which is one of my favorite wines in Bordeaux. And I've been drinking Grand-Puy-Lacoste, God, I want to say how long, and I own a lot of it. And I have a lot of good memories of drinking those wines. They were in 1978. They were sold, and I remember the 78 was very good, but the 82 was outstanding. And in 1982, they rebuilt the chateau. And what makes Grand-Puy-Lacoste so special is they really produce classic Pauillac style at a great price. And Grand-Puy-Lacoste was bought by the Bordeaux family. And I personally worked with Xavier Bordeaux and his wife several times in New York. And I must say, besides loving the wines, and they also have Du Cru Beaucaillou also, which is a great wine. But the Bordeaux family, they're very genteel, incredible ambassadors for Bordeaux wine, and very classy people. And I was honored to work with them. And I, to this day, talk highly of their wine, and I try to sell their wine. I have a great story about one time when I moved to New England, and I didn't know anybody. I didn't know anyone in the wine business, so I had to go out and I had to find some wine friends. So I started hanging out at a few retail accounts, and I said, I got some wine in my house, and you want to come over, taste some Bordeaux? I have a lot of Bordeaux. So, I got about 7 or 8 people over, and I opened up about 15 bottles of Bordeaux. And one of my guests saw that I was going to open up a bottle of 1982 Grand-Puy-Lacoste. And he said to me, I haven't had that wine in about 15 years. And my grandfather has a phenomenal cellar in England. And one of the first great wine I ever had, he opened up a bottle of 1982 Grand-Puy-Lacoste, and it has a place in my heart. So I opened up the bottle. It was probably out of 15 wines, it was probably the 10th. And went around and I poured to everyone, and I was sitting down, and I took a look at the end of the table, and I could see tears coming down the gentleman's eyes. And he had the tears, and I said to him, Guy, you enjoy the wine? And he goes, it was so wonderful when I had it with my grandfather, and I didn't think it was going to be anywhere close to that, but it's marvelous. It's sublime. Thank you so much for that. And being in the wine business, that meant a lot to me, that I was able to open up a special bottle of wine that meant so much personally and emotionally to someone. And that's part of the reason why I enjoy being around the wine community, and I've been able to earn a very good living, and I spread the word around. Now, Grand-Puy-Lacoste, the great vintages, I said 78 was very good, 82 was great, 86, 90, 95, 96, 2000, and then after that, I still, I own 2005, 2009, 2010, and 15, 16. So I'm really definitely invested in those wines. But the key thing about Grand-Puy-Lacoste is Grand-Puy-Lacoste, as far as the quality level goes, this wine, if you want bang for your buck, as far as classified Bordeaux, I can't see him going anywhere but Grand-Puy-Lacoste. That as a future, you could buy these wines $70, $80. And generally, the older vintages are 100, 125, 150 compared to 250 to other ones. You want to find a great bottle at a very good price, it's Grand-Puy-Lacoste. So let's congratulate Pontet-Canet. Let's congratulate Grand-Puy-Lacoste, both going into the third growth status. And let's also, again, sum up. Lynch-Bages going to a second growth, and Parma going to a second growth. They graduated.